What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Daniel's Stock Bites. Here on this channel, we do quick 2 to 5 minute videos on high growth tech stocks. And today we're going to be talking about Square stock and why you might want to keep Square stock on your watch list for the next month or so. First off, let's dive right into the charts. So here you can see Square for the month of October. It was up roughly around 4.5%. However, from its all-time highs at $190 per share, it came back down by about 11% today at $170 per share. But if we look at Square's chart for the past year since January 1st, we can see that the stock has gained over 166%. One thing to note is that their earnings are coming up on November 5th. And we can see here on Finbox, and if you want to sign up for Finbox, there is a free version as well as a paid version. You can go in the description down below. We can see that they have an EPS estimate of 16 cents per share according to analysts, and a revenue estimate of $2.08 billion. In the past couple of years, Square stock tends to go up after earnings, except for 3 quarters where the stock actually decreased. And if we scroll down here, we can see that a year ago in their Q3 earnings in 2019, that they earned 25 cents per share, as well as $602 million. So analysts actually predict that Square's EPS is going to be dropping this quarter, down to 16 cents per share. However, the revenue is going to skyrocket by over 300% year over year to $2.08 billion. So definitely watch out for November 5th when Square reports its earnings. And I do think that we could possibly see a pullback, only because the general market is pulling back right now. But otherwise, I think Square's fundamentals are quite intact. In this next part of the video, I'll be going over a couple pieces of news that I think are very important for Square. First off, we're going to start off with Square's investment in Bitcoin, where Square bought $50 million worth of Bitcoin. And I think this is kind of an indication that Square does believe that cryptocurrencies are the future. And I think that right now there's still quite a bit of doubt in the market, but the fact that Square is an innovative company, and there's also other larger companies that are coming into the cryptocurrency space, which we'll talk a little bit about later on, I think that this is kind of confirmation that cryptocurrencies could have their place. Right now, I think cryptocurrencies have their place, especially in third world countries where their currencies are not as stable. And also with all these countries pumping out stimulus, I think this also makes a better case for cryptocurrency. Because when countries pump out stimulus and ultimately are printing currency, this will devalue the currency over time, because you can't just create value out of nothing. And one other thing to look at for the Bitcoin investment is take a look at these charts for Bitcoin. This is a logarithmic chart for Bitcoin. And if we extended it past 2014, which this site doesn't offer, there typically is like 3-year cycles for Bitcoin, where it spikes up in 1 year, and then for a few years, 3 to 4 years, it kind of, hangs out down here and drops significantly. It actually came down by about 80% here, and then it has a huge run up. And right now we can see that for the past couple of years, Bitcoin has been petering, but we can see it's come back up and it may test these all-time highs that it previously set in 2017. And if it does break above that, I can possibly see Bitcoin soaring up to maybe $100,000 based on its previous run-ups in the past. I mentioned earlier that there are other companies in the Bitcoin space, and PayPal is one of them. There's recent news at the end of October that PayPal is supporting Bitcoin. And this is a big deal because, Square being a fairly large company is supporting Bitcoin, and now they have the competitor PayPal coming into the space as well. And PayPal is quite large. They're probably about double Square's size right now. So this is big news for Bitcoin and the whole cryptocurrency space, that PayPal is coming in and supporting it. One other thing to note about Square is that JP Chase is also coming into Square space with a new smartphone card reader. And the card reader touts faster deposits for merchants. So, people looking at this might say Square space is being threatened by JP Chase. And the fact that JP Chase is such a huge bank, and they also have other merchants that are part of their client base, they could be taking away market share from Square. However, I think that this faster deposits is going to be only a short-term thing, and if Square sees their profits being hurt by JP Chase, they can easily change their platform and give fast deposits as well. So I don't really see this as an issue. The fact that JP Chase is about 7 to 8 years late to the game shows that Square is doing something right, and I think they already have enough momentum that JP Chase is not going to be much of a threat. The last thing that I want to talk about here is that Visa and MasterCard had pretty dismal earnings. This could also be foreshadowing what Square's earnings could be like. The fact that Visa and MasterCard show that consumer spending was down, this could have some implications that Square's merchants were also being affected as well. Lastly, let's go to the charts. So here on Square's charts, we can see that they're actually approaching the 50-day moving average. So personally, I think this is a time where I may consider adding to my position in Square, because oftentimes in the past year, we haven't really seen Square below its 50-day moving average, except for when the whole market crashed, which, it wasn't really Square's fault. So I think Square, being a high-tech growth name, coming down to its 50-day moving average is a pretty good point to start buying in. We may see prices go lower when their earnings come out, also when the election happens. Maybe they'll end up touching the 100-day moving average, and that's where I'll be buying more heavier into Square. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below, as well as subscribe, hit the notification bell if you guys are new here, and I'll see you in my next one.